Hi guys, this is Sharon Craft Acres, and today I thought I'd do a garlic update on our garlic patch next to the house. It was about a week ago that we went ahead and picked the scapes off of them, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what's going on with them. They're already starting to dry up. It must be the variety, because normally once you pick the scapes you have about 3 to 4 weeks before you end up having to dig them up, before they're ready to dig up. And as soon as I picked them, this happened last year just the same, and they just start drying up real quick. But we get huge garlic cloves off of them anyway, so really it's not a loss. But it is what it is. So let's go ahead and turn the camera around and show you what's going on. So here's my garlic patch here, and it's right against my house on the back side. And as you can see, some of the stalks are pretty good size. You can see how thick that stalk is right here. It's pretty thick. There are some weeds, I know. It's going to happen, but I work a full-time job plus, so it happens. But this is this one can stay along for a while because you want about 2/3 of the leaves to be brown, and that's not the way that one is just yet. A lot of these in the front up here, they'll be fine for a while yet, for maybe another week. The ones back here closer to the house, and I'm wondering if it's not because of like a residual heat from the house bouncing off onto them, but they're ready to be picked. Look how dried up the stalks are on them. So if you look at, let me get over here. Sorry, get you down here where I can get you in here with the tripod. Okay, so I don't use anything real fancy, just a potato fork. Simple little potato fork, and what I do is I just start out from the edge and I work my way in. And I just kind of rock it back and forth, and there we go. As you can see, we've got 2 great big cloves right here. And I just ease them out of the ground. So this is a nice big clove. Here's some babies in the ground. Now, I keep these. It'll take a couple of years for them to get big enough to be a big clove, but this is what you start with. So this is about 3 years away and to becoming this. And so we got all kinds of little babies on them right here. And then the surrounding dirt. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get a pail. We'll put these in, let the dirt kind of dry up. And I like to save all the little babies as well. I like the soil to be a little bit drier than this, but that's okay. It is what it is for this year. We get huge rains and then it dries up. We get huge rains and it dries up. So a bit of rain is better than no rain at all. And actually it's working out pretty good the way it's coming down for us, because we're able to have like 3 or 4 days where we can work after it's dried up, and then it rains again. So it works out. So there you go. And that's what you want. You want your bulbs to be nice and tight. You don't want really cracking like that in the, if you can see that. Once the skin dries up, there'll be a little bit of cracking, and you want to avoid as much of that cracking as possible. That's why you want to go ahead and pick them at this stage, or just a touch before this. And that way your storage will be better with your garlic cloves. So I'm going to go ahead and pick some of the roast ones right now and see what we have when we get done. All right, from that little bit of a spot that we went ahead and did, I was able to get a whole tray full. And so what I'll do is we'll go through and knock some of the dirt off. We'll let it dry out over tomorrow. We'll have to put them up and we'll have to put them in a space where it's cool and dry, like in a barn, out of the sun. It doesn't really have to be cool, but if it's not hot, too terribly hot, like, but it needs to be dry and out of the sun. Let them cure for a couple of weeks, and then you can put them in storage, which would be in a cool place like a basement or a root cellar. And you want to kind of keep them out of the sun at that point too. These are the hard nicks, so we won't be able to really utilize any of the, we won't be able to braid them, but we will be able to store them. And what we'll do once we go to store them, I'll show you, we'll come back and show you, but we'll cut the stems off shorter. But for right now, this is kind of how I would cure them for right now, is put them in a kind of a single row and just let them dry out. You want that soil to dry off of them. And then we'll try and go through and knock some more off tomorrow. But there's tons of babies, and the bulbs are really nice sized. So I'm pretty pleased so far with what we have. We'll have lots to have for next year, and then lots to sell. And so what I do is I always keep back a certain amount for starting for the next year's crop. But we don't plant those till September. So that's a nice size one. Look how big it is compared to my hand. If you can see that. It's a pretty nice size. So that's all there is to it. That's how you go ahead and dig them, and when you want to kind of dig them. Again, this must be the certain variety that we have, and I don't know what the variety is. I wish I did know so I could do a little more research on them. But they seem to react the same way every year. We've had them for several years. A few years ago, we were in the middle of a drought by June, so that was not a good year. In fact, we still had a lot of garlic come out of the garden, the same spot. But I had to actually water the ground, wet the ground to be able to get them out. But there you go. And then I'll let a lot of this soil dry up so that I can get the babies out of there. And that's the crop for today. And then I'll just keep an eye on them, and as they start to dry up, I'll just keep pulling more off out of the patch, and then we will eventually let you show you the entire harvest once it's done. And I would assume, if I were to guess, it would just be another week or two that we'll have the whole thing cleaned out. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. If you have any comments about garlic, how you grow them, or what variety you think this might be, or why you think they start to dry up before the 2 to 3 weeks that 3 to 4 weeks that they normally take after you cut the scapes off, let me know. I'm still learning Heck, I can always learn even if I've planted something for 20 years, like I have tomatoes. I learn something new every year. That's what I love about gardening. It's ever evolving for me. All right, guys. Thank you a lot. Thanks a bunch for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment in the comment section, like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. See you next time.